Hello, Tere, labas. Welcome to probably one of the scariest discussions at PÖFF TV. And we are today in Baltic Film Competition. I'm Edvinas, one of the programmers and curator of Baltic Film Competition. And today we will talk about Lithuanian film called Pensive. And in Baltic Competition this year we have many first times. And we never had slasher, and actually nobody in Lithuania has ever made any slasher. Jonas Trukanas, one of screenwriters and director, and this is his debut in feature film. So Jonas, it's time for you to tell us your inspiration to make this film. How many slashers you watched in your life, and who are your leaders? And
yes, so I watched a lot of slashers and horror films. I was somehow very, I don't know, from like university days, I was so very attracted to horror cinema in general. And that has been my, I don't know, my thing to go, and my favorite films are all horror. My biggest, probably biggest inspiration is, as you know, Takashi Miike from Japan, my favorite all-time director. But for this film, I think the biggest inspiration was like Lithuanian folk tales, and because the film is about these wooden sculptures that we have in Lithuania, which are called the Pensive Christ, which is the wooden sculpture of Jesus Christ, really, which has nothing to do with the film, but the image of it was the inspiration for the film.
Yeah, this is probably, you even started to answer my second question. I think Pensive is genuine Lithuanian horror film. And could you a bit explain this mythology, which I don't know how much it is real, even me as Lithuanian, or it is everything invented, but this mythology of wooden sculptures?
So what we have in the film is really, we have these wooden sculptures, which eventually, you have to watch the film, obviously, but we have a group of teenagers who arrive in a cottage, in a country cottage, celebrating their graduation, and they find these wooden sculptures there. And this is where the horror starts in the film. But these wooden sculptures, they are called, as I said, the Pensive Christs. And it's actually, you can find them all around Lithuania, right? It's like a folk art thing. Wooden sculptures of Jesus Christ, who's sort of sitting in a very contemplative position. And the origin of the actual sculpture, of the wooden sculpture, is the fact that, it comes from both the folk tradition of Lithuanian tales and from Christianity. It is meant to remind us of, obviously, the suffering of Jesus Christ. In this film, in the Pensive, it's not about that. We use it as an image, but the film really started. And the image I had in my head is I was, 18 years old, driving my first car ever to a party somewhere in the woods. We had no Google Maps or anything. I just had directions. And I take a sharp turn into the forest, and what I see, suddenly my headlights go into the darkness, and I can see the sculpture just in the darkness of very sad Jesus Christ. And I remember this image to the day, and this is how the film started.
Yeah, and I must admit, I watched Pensive twice on alone, and when I visited Lithuanian premiere in Vilnius for completely different experience. And Pensive is obsessively funny film. Yeah, you cannot stop laughing, and I think it's your collaboration with Titas Laucius. Could you elaborate how you work to write screenplay? And let me explain what Titas Laucius is a director screenwriter. He also has a world premiere parade in the first feature competition, so he's multi-talented.
Yes, no, very
he's
much.
everywhere.
Yeah, we started writing the film, I don't know, like almost 3 years ago. And Titas is a big horror film fan as well. He doesn't want to make them, but, you know, he's a big fan. So he watched them all as well. So we found the common ground. And obviously, you know, Titas he's a very talented writer and director in comedy. So I think what he does, he brings the comedy to the film, and I bring the horror. So this is how it goes. But we actually, you know, because when we started writing it, we had COVID. So what we did is literally we sat through the lockdown on Zoom calls every single day, and this is how we wrote Pensive. And I think if it wasn't for lockdown and COVID, we wouldn't have written the film at all. So we are very in a way thankful for the lockdown, because you don't do anything, you just sit and write, you know, there is nothing else to do. So it saved me personally from you know, negativity throughout the lockdown.
And in Pensive we could recognize many famous Lithuanian actors, but luckily we have only cameo appearances. They are helping for you, but all main protagonists, a bunch of young, talented actors. Only Gabija Bargailaitė is, of course, she's known because her first film, Pilgrims, was awarded in Venice, and we recognize her face. And what was first, Pilgrims or Pensive?
It was Pilgrims. Pilgrims was first for Gabija.
You chose Gabija before you watched Pilgrims?
Yes, we did, but the casting was done by Marija Kaftaradze, also a Lithuanian director. When she read the script and she read the role that we have, she instantly said we need to try Gabija, because they also did the casting for Pilgrims as well. So you know, they knew Gabija from before, and I think Gabija suited perfectly. But all the others we tried, I don't know how many, because we have like eight main, it's an ensemble cast, so to say. So 8 main actors, and all of them were a very, you know, we did a long process with casting. We tried, I don't know, like 100 people, 100 young actors, because, you know, we don't know all of them, obviously, because with the known actors, it's very easy to say, oh, I need this or him or her for the role. But with the younger ones, we didn't know. And, we are very happy with the experience. And also, I think the interesting thing is that we shot the film very quickly, because the budget was quite limited in 14 days, really. So we rehearsed with actors like crazy. We even went to the location, and I was like scaring them, walking around the house, making noises, and trying to get them to react to certain things. So it was a very fun experience.
And could you maybe introduce your main protagonist? For them, also, this is first ever roles. I mean, significant roles.
Yes, so main character, his name is Marius, and actor is Šarūnas Rapolas Miliešius. He is now, I think, in the 3rd year of Lithuanian Academy of Theatre and Film. An acting student, and his I think it's quite an interesting role, because it's not your usual horror film protagonist. He's not a very good person. Our main hero. Not to say he's not a good person. He makes some doubtful choices, so to say. But the whole idea of a film is really about, at least for me, and about the protagonist, is that. You know, there is a character who's surrounded by people who are all interesting, who are someone, because we have a basketball player, we have like a DJ from the kids in school. And our main character doesn't know who he is, and he tries to be many things. And what he decides to become at the end of a film, well, you have to see it, I guess. But yeah, Šarūnas, he did a brilliant job with the role.
And his mother is a very famous actress. And I was trying to ask him what mother has said to him after premiere. Do you know any gossips or whispers?
I think she liked it, but I think she doesn't give praise easily, obviously, you know. So I don't know how it went specifically, but yeah, this we need to ask Šarūnas, because I think she gave him some feedback on what he did.
And the strength of Pensive, to me at least, what you build tension step by step, even with maybe your choice of this music and sounds especially. You could elaborate on this.
Yeah, well, I think the thing is that, as I said, we had very limited time and limited budget, and I think with horror is very important to choose, to choose your battles, to choose what, and that was the question we asked, is what can we do good? Like what can look good on screen so it really looks good. So really the action starts at like 40th minute, like the real action. So the next thought process is, okay, what can we do to raise the tension from the start, bit by bit? And obviously we use some things, and I think with music especially, what we worked on, because it's sort of connected with this folk narrative. So with composer Andrius Kuklys, we try to find Lithuanian instruments that sound scary, and tune them like traditional Lithuanian instruments, and tune them out, because Andrius is also he's a DJ himself, really, and we try to mix electronica, techno music, because that's what the teenagers listen to in the party, and add in the folk element with the string instruments, like old Lithuanian string instruments. And when we found that you take kankles, which is the weird string Lithuanian instrument, you'd like tune it so it doesn't sound correct, and you just go like brr, 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 brr. We found it very, very scary, and we enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it's incredible experience, funny, crazy, unpredictable. We must already finish, but maybe quickly, Jonas, you can reveal how you decided who dies first and this row, whom to kill.
I think we spoke about that yesterday with Titus, actually. He said that so I speak very loudly all the time, and when we started writing it was before the lockdowns. We used to meet like in cafes time to time, and he said he remembers that I used to like scream very loudly, let's kill it like him, like that, or like this, and people will just look at us, thinking about what happens. But really it was, so there's a logic in what happens, as in every horror film should. The logic in our film is based on what people do to the wooden sculptures. That's the way they die. So this is how we chose the order of people to disappear from the film slowly.
Yeah, but there is no need to spoil.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, Pensive is a film to enjoy in cinema, and let this fear submerge you in the audience. And it's Pensive is a film for a collective experience in cinema, where everyone can laugh or shout out of fear. And thank you for listening us with Jonas Trukanas, and I hope you catch up with Pensive at the Black Night Film Festival.